Ravanachari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti, Shloka number 28. Shloka, let's chant the shloka. Manye tvam khalam Ishanam Anadi Nidanam Vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yan mitakalihi. Okay, word to word meaning. Manye, I consider. Tvam, your lordship. Kalam, the eternal time. Ishanam, the supreme lord. Anadi nidanam, without beginning and end. Vibhum, all pervading. Samam, equally merciful. Charantam, distributing. Sarvatra, everywhere. Bhutanam, of the living beings. Yat mitaha, by intercourse. Kalihi, dissension. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the Supreme Controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissension between living beings are due to social intercourse. Purport. Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her parental house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as the super soul Paramatma. Another name of Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. Eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by him. It is no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. We may forget the misdeeds for which we may suffer at the present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion, and therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. And because the Paramatma feature of the Lord Krishna disdains all actions and reactions, he is the supreme controller also. Without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse their freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Others who misuse freedom are put into miseries destined by the eternal Kala. The Kala offers the conditioned soul both happiness and miseries. It is all predestined by eternal time. As we have miseries uncalled for, so we may have happiness also without being asked, for they are all predestined by Kala. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the results of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. Everyone here wants to lord it over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all pervading, and therefore he can see everyone's activities. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, he is known as the eternal time Kala. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurava Shri Yatha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here, Kunti Maharani's prayer, she is wonderfully describing the Supreme Lord. So she is telling that I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the Supreme Controller without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. So, like from Bhagavad Gita, what is the this one definition of time that is given? And then what does the Lord Kala Asmi, he tells, so that means he is the time, eternal time. He is the eternal time, and what does he do as the feature of eternal time? Huh? He? Mrityu Sarva Harascha. No, not. We are not talking about Mrityu. We are talking about Kala. Huh. So that is like over a period of time, the knowledge is destroyed. That is a different sloka. Kalosmi Lokakshaya. Lokakshaya, no Krit Prabhudo. So like he mentions that I destroy everything. In the feature of time, I destroy everything. So whenever this topic comes, we have always discussed this point that the Lord as creator is appreciated, the Lord as a maintainer is appreciated, but the Lord as a destroyer is not appreciated so much. So when like people get something, sometimes they acknowledge that yeah, it is by the mercy of the Lord. And then when things are maintained and protected and things like that, so sometimes people can acknowledge that it is the hand of the Lord and things like that. But then if something is snatched off, if something is destroyed, so then it's very difficult for people to identify, okay, this is also done by the Lord actually. So like why did my grandfather die, or why did my father die, or something like that. So people generally have this kind of this one. So but it is all perfectly within the control of the Lord. And Lord in the feature of Kala, he destroys everything. So he is the destroyer. So in that way, like no, it is everything is done by the Lord: creation, maintenance, and destruction. So the Lord in the form of time, eternal time, his this one is he is a supreme controller. So nobody like no Prabhupada often tells this thing that even time and tide doesn't wait for this one. So it is told by somebody, but then Prabhupada used to use this. So like and like nobody can buy time. So Prabhupada used to say one story, like one this one of a scientist, who wanted to have a little more life, to do some more experiments and things like that. But then time did not wait. No, time actually killed him. So in this way, he is the supreme controller. So nobody can actually have any say beyond the eternal time. And like in fact, for Gita course preparations, so we were preparing on the 5 subjects. This is what are the 5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita? Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Prakriti, and Karma. So, like you have lots to say from in terms of Ishvara, from Bhagavad Gita. Like how does the Lord functions, So in different ways, like Ishvara, he is the controller, he is the master, and Jiva is also like very nicely described. Karma is also described, and then Prakriti is also described. 3 modes of nature. A lot of chapters are there, but Kala, it's not that much described. So very few things that are there, in terms of Kala. So, but then, if you see the the living entity is there, and then the modes of material nature is there, and then it is like it's like a cooking vessel. In the vessel, like you put everything, and then you try to cook, and then you ignite the fire also. After that, you have to leave some time. So the time is required for the processing. So everything that is happening is within the control of the time, and few things that we actually see that is the time deteriorates things over a period of like over a period. So like in this way, it is a very important aspect. And there is another thing whenever this point of time comes, like 2 3 pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, which I like to meditate upon, in this particular aspect of time. So when the Tripurari's pastime was happening, like the demon Tripurari, like no, he was no having different mansions, iron mansion, and then a silver mansion, golden mansion, like that. And these are all invisible mansions, and like he used to attack, from these invisible mansions. And then Lord Shiva was deputed to handle this demon, and it was quite difficult for him to, handle. Like he was killing, Lord Shiva was killing the demons in thousands. So, but then Maya Danva, he created a nectar pond, and these demons were put into the pond and they would come back to life. And Lord Shiva was continuously go on killing, and then these people are coming back to life. And then no at that point in time, so Lord Vishnu, he and I think Brahma, so they come as cow and a calf, and then they start drinking, this nectar pond. So at that time, so this is noticed, and then like what is that? The demons take notice of that, and they try to discuss upon, amongst themselves, and they come to the conclusion that the time is not favoring us at this point in time. So the time is not favoring, and these what is that? They are not able to see any way that they can actually retaliate, or they can actually mitigate this problem. So that cow and the calf has come, and they are drinking this pond. So anybody would say like, no, you can just हट करके like no भगा सकते हैं. So but then they could able to sense the situation. That situation is in such a way that they will not be able to do anything. So what is going on over there, like we don't know, but they get this feeling, they get this feeling that this is a situation we cannot handle. And then the nectar pond gets exhausted, and then after that Vishnu enables Lord Shiva to conquer over the demon. So then after that, another pastime I remember of is that Bali Maharaj, when he is like bound by the ropes of Varuna. So then Vishnu is like still, like Vamana is still actually what is that, asking him to like कर्ज खाने के लिए like मांग रहे. So but then like he's in an incapable position. So that time all the demons, they become agitated, and then our master has been captured, and we should do something, and they start fighting. And then at that time, like Bali Maharaj will speak to them, saying that no, don't exert yourself. No, time is not favoring us. Now, when the time was favoring us, we could able to win over the demigods. So, but now time is not favorable to us. No, we should not exert ourselves. No, not we should not. No, unnecessarily. If we exert ourselves, no result will be there, and no kali nuksan. Like there is no this one. No tangible results will be there. So this is very, very important to understand. And in Bhagavad Gita itself, it is mentioned, sometimes the mode of passion, is, what is it, dominant. And, goodness and ignorance, seems to be like, powerless. And sometimes goodness is dominant. And, passion and ignorance, seems to be like very insignificant. So sometimes ignorance is prominent. So like this, the different times, different modes of nature is actually brought into like the forefront, and they actually rule over that particular this one. So in this way, the time actually is even the this one Satya Treta Dwapara and Kali. So this is also this cycle of time that is there. So every time that it is favorable for certain activities, right? So even why we are preaching the message of Krishna consciousness, because time is appropriate. This is the time when the preaching is supposed to happen, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has inaugurated this mission, and the acharyas have come, and Srila Prabhupada has come. So like this is the right time to do this thing. Otherwise, Nityananda Prabhu, when he appeared, so and then he was going around all the places, all the different places, and he was not preaching. Like why he was not preaching? Because he was waiting for the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was, he went all around India, and then went to all the holy places, and then finally he was like there in Vrindavan, right? So and he was waiting for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching pastimes to start. So till then, like till the time he got an order, no, he did not preach the message of Krishna consciousness. So it is very essential that no, we understand this aspect of time, and then in our life also we should see that when things are favorable, so we may be able to do things in a nice way. But when things are not favorable, so we also know how to. We also should know how to wind up things. No, so that is very essential. So otherwise, like no, yesterday I was able to do, no, I should be able to do today also, and I'll be struggling. And then maybe it is not meant for me to do. No, like we should be like we should take advice, in this particular aspect, and then know that when I should exert myself and when I should not exert myself. No, because the time is the supreme controller and dictator. No, I cannot. If the time favors, if the Lord favors, then I can do something. If the Lord doesn't favor, no, so then I'll not be able to do that particular thing. And this also gives us another aspect of humility. So when something successful is happening, so that means so many favorable things are going on. Time is favoring, the people are favoring, and so many different favorable things are there, and the Lord is finally, He is sanctioning. So when the Lord stops His sanctioning, so then nothing will happen. No, everything will stop. So like anything that good happens, we should understand that it is because the Lord's sanction is there, and many favorable things are there, and that's why it's happening. And anything bad happens, okay, the Lord has just withdrawn His sanction, or the Lord has sanctioned something else, right? So in that way, like a devotee, whether something good or bad, or whether something successful or failure, so the real success in the life of a devotee is to see the hand of the Lord. If externally something is successful, and then a devotee is able to attribute it to the sanctioning of the Lord, so then the devotee is successful. Externally something is a failure, and the devotee is able to attribute it to the sanction of the Lord. The Lord has sanctioned this failure. So then the devotee is still successful, because he is still Krishna conscious, right? So the key thing is to be Krishna conscious. So, and then the Lord is without beginning and end, and especially in the aspect of time, time is an eternal time. No, time doesn't have a beginning and time doesn't have an end. No, which time the time actually started? It is quite difficult, quite difficult question to comprehend also. So that is why, like, the time is eternal. No, it doesn't have a beginning or end. So it is Kala Chakra, it is mentioned. So it is continuously, it is moving, and it is all pervasive. No place is not under the jurisdiction of time. No, every place, every aspect of the whole creation is completely under the jurisdiction of time. So what is not there under the jurisdiction of time? Spiritual world. Spiritual world is not there under the jurisdiction of time. And spiritual world, time exists? Hmm? क्या है वो? Conspicuous by absence. Huh? Yeah, so time acts as a servant of the Supreme Lord there. So whichever time the Lord wants, it gets adjusted. And when the Lord comes to this world, He demonstrates that. How does He demonstrate? Huh? What is that? So right from His appearance, like what happened during His appearance? All the planets adjusted themselves. No, they were supposed to be in a particular place according to the time, but Bhagwan aaya to like sab hat gaya. So then, where else? Brahma Vimohan Leela. So how?
Like after coming 6 months of Brahma life, so still like the period is more than.
No, there the Lord did not adjust the time. So it's Brahma's, like Brahma went to his planet and came back. Like, no, there is no adjustment of time actually happened. Huh? Natural condition became very soothing. So Vrindavan was not like the Vrindavan at this point in time. जिधर लू चलता है, So when Krishna was there, like it is perfectly like everything. The descriptions that you read from Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like really amazing. So all the climatic changes, everything like is perfectly controlled by the Lord. So, he never got old. No, like time is acting, but then like everybody are getting old, and he's not getting old. Then, uh That is just a trick, na? That is not, time is not changed there. You just, no. Yeah, in one sense we can say that the time is calculated by the movement of the sun, and the sun is hampered. So, yeah. So, like, the basic unit of the time, how it is calculated? Time taken for the sun to cross over an atom. No, that is the basic unit of time. So that comes in the Bhagavatam actually. So, and then from there, the, after many levels, the second comes, and after that minute comes. So then, hours and things like that. So anyways, so this, and then, Krishna expanded the time during the Ras Leela. So that one night is, was expanded to the time of, so one night of Brahma. So that's, huh?
When we say that it is conspicuous, so it means that it has no destroying effect.
So it doesn't have its effect, what we see, the effect of time in this world. That time dictates everything. No, nobody can overrule the time. No, time destroys everything. So all these things, it doesn't happen there. So the time exists as a servant of the Lord. Whatever the Lord wants, that kind of things, arrangements, it will do like that. So okay, so this is this one. And in distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. So this is another very important aspect. So the Lord's mercy, it is equally distributed. Samoham sarvabhutana. And then the dissension between living beings are due to social intercourse. So these things are nicely covered in the purport. So we will see. Okay. So Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her parental house. Like how Krishna was related to Kunti. Kunti's brother is Vasudeva, and Vasudeva's son is Krishna. So in that way, like she was accepting. Like one very nice thing we see that externally everybody were exchanging etiquettes. Krishna would offer obeisances, and she would she would accept the obeisances, and sometimes they would bless Krishna also, and so all those things would happen. So, but then internally they know that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our Master, and we are His servant, and the Lord wants this pastime to happen, and they would just simply assist the Lord in that pastime. And she knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as the super soul, Paramatma, right? So, like this is very clear understanding was there of Krishna. Another name of the Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. So eternal time is the witness of all our actions. So this is another aspect that is mentioned. So like Prabhupada is equating all the aspects of Paramatma to the eternal time. So eternal time witnesses all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by him, right? So resultant reactions are destined by him. So like, there is evidence is there, solid evidence is there. So who are all the evidence of the actions that are performed? Paramatma. So obviously, who else? Sun, moon, air, and Yamaraj, and even Lord Shiva also, So like there are many different personalities, especially Lord Shiva and Yamaraj, share this or has the delegated power from the Supreme Lord of Sarvagya, like they know everything, and they have all the facilities that a super soul has. So these personalities also have all the facilities of the super soul. So by the blessings of the super soul, so they also can know these things, right? And okay, so here is a nice this one that is asked. It is no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. So there is no use telling like that. It's like it's obvious that if I'm suffering, that means I would have committed some crime, right? So by mistake, like Manduka Muni, by mistake he was punished, right? So ऐसा भी हो सकता है ना? मैं तो like I am innocent, like so by mistake, like Lord has punished me, right? It is possible, right? So now it is no, but then when we are going through difficulty, like that time it will become yes. So why the Lord is punishing? Like, no, I am so innocent, no? So like that. So, but then the Lord is Purnam. The Lord is no beyond the modes of material nature. The Lord is Aparasya, So the Lord can never commit a mistake, To err is human, not to err is not the Lord, right? So the Lord never commits a mistake, and even if seemingly something is going on like the Manduka Muni and things like that, but it is perfectly within the control of the Lord, and it is a pastime enacted by the Lord, and it is enacted only with his very close and dear associates, not with आम आदमी आम आदमी के साथ like भगवान पास टाइम नहीं करते. So like no people who are not very dear to him, so he doesn't adjust things like that. So but for his dear devotees and to pastimes to enact, so the Lord sometimes make adjustments, So but then no, that is not true for everyone. So like generally the people suffer because of their own misdeeds. We may forget the misdeeds for which we may suffer at the present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion, and therefore he knows everything past, present, and future. So from Bhagavad Gita, what is the substantiation for this? Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridadesha Arjuna Tishtati. So constant companion is resolved. And then he is, what is it? We may forget the misdeeds, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion. Therefore, he knows. He knows. Like, how does he know? From Bhagavad Gita? That is like, it is not telling about he knows. It is telling about Vedaham Samati Thani Vartamani Cha Charjuna Bhavishyani Cha Bhutani. Like, he tells that, Vedaham. Vedaham means like, I know everything. Like, Krishna mentions that, like, I know everything, past, present, and future. Right? And so now, why do we do this exercise? Because, to get that faith, that Prabhupada has not just written something like some feel good principles here or some understanding I say like kuch likh diye, so like every line of Srila Prabhupada's purports are it's quotations from the Vedic scriptures. And because the Paramatma feature of Lord Krishna disdains all actions and reactions, he is the supreme controller also, right? So like this Anumanta Upadrishta, so Bharta Bhokta Manishina, so like he actually awards or he permits, he is overseer, he is the witness, this is another like proof for witness. And then he is the one who supplies everything, and he is the one, like Bhokta is a little different topic, so we'll discuss sometime else. And yeah, so he's the awarder of all the reactions, and he is the supreme controller also. So without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move, right? So like Anumanta, he is the sanctioner, right? So now he is the sanctioner, and then he is also the punisher, right? So the living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering, right? So we are given the freedom. So what is that we can do with our freedom? Desire. Desire is the only thing that we can do with our freedom, and based on what kind of desires we have had and what kind of actions that are being performed, so based on that our current situation is given. So like based on that we are given the happiness or distress. So like right use of the freedom is desiring to serve the Lord, and misuse of the freedom is to actually trying to do sense gratification or enjoy the property of the Lord, right? And the Lord, in both the ways, the Lord actually sanctions. So the Lord sanctions, if we have a desire to serve the Lord sanctions it, and then we will be able to be engaged in the service of the Lord. And then if I have a desire to do sense gratification, the Lord sanctions that as well. And then we will get an opportunity to enjoy the property of the Lord. And but then what is the problem? It's like, I just try to desire to chant, but I'm not able to chant. Kidhar problem kidhar hai? Huh? Okay. So sometimes sincere desire also comes, but then also like devotee struggles a lot. Where is the struggle coming from? Hmm?
Lord is not
हाँ तो दोष उधर ही है Huh?
Because of the offenses that they have committed.
Because of the offenses and the samskaras. No, these two things are very important. So, like no, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's this one of Durdaivam Ihajanina Anuraga. So he tells that this unfortunate situation is our offensive condition. No, and then the culture that we have actually picked up from this material world. So to assist us in the sense gratification, Krishna has created this three modes of nature, and then the products of three modes of nature, like basically like we need to have the mind, intelligence, and the senses, the material counterparts. The spiritual aspect is there, but then the material counterpart is also necessary for us to function in this material world. So this is the apparatus which has been fitted, for us to function in this material world. And when we perform an action, when we perform an action means essential action that we can do is the desire. So when we have a desire, so then that that has a two prong. This one it gets into the action, another is get into samskara. Every desire that sows a seed of samskara into our system, right? So now for so much long period of time we have been doing we have cultured material thought process, and that would have sown a lot of seeds of material sense gratification, right? So this the mind is clogged with all these things. And when I start practicing Krishna consciousness, so when I have one desire of Krishna consciousness, thousands of desires of sense gratification is there parallelly, right? And then, but the good news is, I've started having desire of Krishna consciousness. I've started having desire to serve the Lord, and that is going to create a new culture. That's that's going to create a new samskara in the system, and this is going to spread like wildfire. This is like very, very powerful. So because it is as good as Krishna, anything is connected with Krishna is as good as Krishna, and it is going to be very powerful. So maybe in few lifetimes, we will be able to accomplish the project. It's very powerful, millions of lifetimes, and we are going to cut it across in few lifetimes. So maybe 100 lifetimes. It's like really powerful. And in that also, if we do very intense devotional service, so in one lifetime also we can. That's like unimaginable. So when such things happen, Yamaraj actually faints. इतना खाता लिख के रखा credit balance एक ही shot में discount दे दिया उसको so it is quite this one. So during the time of what is it, Ajamil, and then the case of Jagai Madai, and cases like that. So it is quite powerful. The process of bhakti is quite powerful. So now, what is the intensity with which we actually do? So that is how much the process of bhakti can act upon us. We give sometimes the example of a cooking pot, kept hanging on the wall, on the ceiling, and then a small fire is lit. Matchbox is lit, and that matchstick is kept below. So where the cooking will happen? Now, for the sake of it, the fire is there, and then the cooking materials are there. The pot is there. But how much that this one will work? So the intensity, and then the intensity of Krishna consciousness, and the second thing is the aspect of avoiding of offenses and clearing of the samskaras. So, but then avoiding of offenses is very essential. Clearing of samskaras is anyway material, and that can be easily handled by the holy name. So the spiritual practice should be intense, and it should be devoid of offenses. This is the powerful combination. So that is why we see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so when he is passing by to different places, and then he doesn't have he doesn't spend sometimes he doesn't spend much time with different devotees. So and when Vasudev, the leper, he wanted to get some solution. The same thing was he was given the solution of you should chant and you should preach, right? And then this another devotee, I think it is a devotee who wanted to follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kurma Brahman. So to one of them, at least, I'm not able to remember exactly. So he just mentions that you just chant and you avoid offenses. That's all. The entire philosophy of Krishna consciousness. आपका DYS खत्म हो गया, गीता कोर्स खत्म हो गया, like सब levels खत्म हो गया, like just in these two things. No, just chant and avoid offenses. No, this is like super powerful instruction. So if somebody can chant, no, without offenses, like he is going to get everything. No, he's going to get all the opulences of Krishna consciousness. He is going to clear through all the levels of Krishna consciousness, right? So in that way, like it's very very powerful. Uh, so the living being is given the freedom and no freedom that he deserves. No freedom that he deserves. Like if we misuse our freedom, then our freedom becomes reduced. No, so then it can be reduced to such an extent that we can become a tree. So we cannot move, we cannot speak. No, we cannot. No, like so many things we cannot do. No, right? So in that way, like our freedom can be curtailed. No, the freedom is curtailed by the increase of the component of lust, and then the freedom is awarded when the lust is reduced. No, so this we study in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. When the lust becomes more, a living entity becomes very dull. No, very dull-headed. And when the lust is reduced, so then the living entity become knowledgeable. So knowledge arises and the lust decreases. So others who misuse the freedom are put into the miseries. Sorry, like the devotees of the Lord do not misuse their freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. So how do we not misuse the freedom? The freedom, like in the office, like you're all working. So if you are in a managerial position or a lead position, so are you not given freedom? Freedom is given, no? Huh? So when the freedom is given, so you can do anything, right? So you can do your personal work, you can do no next job ka tayari kar sakte hain, and then you can do so many things, right? When the freedom is given. Huh?
कुछ रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन होते हैं.
So the freedom is given to you to accomplish the task that is given by the organization. The freedom is not given to you to do whatever you want. है ना? So like थोड़ा बहुत freedom दिया जाता है, like this is the task that has to be finished. No अभी दिमाग लगाओ. जैसा करना है, like करके खत्म करो. So like that, in the same way, the freedom is given to us to engage ourselves in the service of the Lord, not to do like sense gratification, right? So okay, others, that is how the devotees, they don't misuse the freedom, so they use the freedom in the service of the Lord. Others who misuse the freedom are put into the miseries destined by eternal Kala. So the Kala offers the conditioned souls both happiness and miseries. So like the time, it actually delivers different things. So that is why Krishna mentions happiness and misery comes by time. So what does Krishna mention in Bhagavad Gita? There is two shlokas, like one is from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada often quotes one, and another is from Bhagavatam, like regarding this one. And that Bhagavatam shloka is part of Bhakti Vaibhav list also. Sitoshana Sukha Dukkata. No, that is proper. So like this one, what is the full shloka? Matra sparshaastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkata agama paino anityas tam titikshva sabharata. So like happiness comes, like distress comes, you just tolerate, it will go. And the opposite of that is, if happiness comes, don't be too much joyful, just tolerate, it will go. ज़्यादा देर नहीं रहेगा. So because time keep alternating, na, so like it keeps giving. So the Bhagavatam shloka, Kalena sarvatra gabira ramhaja. And I am also not able to remember the first line. Tal labhyate dukkhavat sukha kalena sarvatra gabira ramhaja. So he says that one should not tasyaiva heto prayate kovido. No, kovido means like an intelligent person, right? So what is the second line? Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyada. So like he should work for that thing which is na labhyate, which is not attainable, no Brahmatam Uparyada. So like even from Brahma Loka to Patala Loka, like one cannot attain. So that is Krishna consciousness. One should actually put his endeavor in performing the this one in performing Krishna consciousness. And just like the miseries come without being asked for, in the same way happiness also will come without being asked for, by the due course of time. So don't endeavor for these things. Don't endeavor for happiness or don't endeavor for distress. So these things will come automatically based on the time. So don't endeavor for this. Just do your endeavor only for enhancing your Krishna consciousness. This is the instruction of this one. So in the same way, like we see that the Kala offers the conditioned soul both happiness and misery. So this is consistent with both Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. It is all predestined by eternal time. So it's all predestined. So then where is the freedom? Where is the choice of the living entity? No, it's all predestined by the eternal time. No. Miseries, like the previously it was mentioned that miseries come by the action of the living entity. Now it is told like miseries come by predestined this one of Kala.
So whatever you have done in the past, like that action, that reactions are fixed, that is going to come. But again in the future, like by our action, we can choose that.
Choose this one. So like predestined, it is based on like whatever actions we have performed. So the schedule is made. When you will be miserable, when you will be happy. So like when misery comes, like we should not be too much like how to get out of this misery. What we should focus.
How to avoid further disease.
No. That's okay. Like more specific. How to perform our Krishna consciousness. That's the only thing that we have to do. When happiness comes, how to perform Krishna consciousness more better. When miseries come, how to perform Krishna consciousness more better. So no second thing to think of. No, only one thing. कुछ नहीं करने का. So then, as miseries uncalled for, as we have miseries uncalled for, so we may have happiness also without being asked. Right? So this is this one of the sloka that we discussed. For they are all predestined by Kala. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. So like the Lord is, what is that? The Lord categorically mentions in Bhagavad Gita that I am not the cause of the suffering of the living entity. And he says like material nature is also not the cause of the suffering of the living entity. And then he adds one more statement which makes the problem more problematic. Even the living entity is not the cause of who's the culprit? So then the Lord says it is the system that is there. The living entity comes in contact with the modes of material nature, he gets conditioned. Once he gets conditioned, he acts in a particular way, and that puts him in the material world, material miseries. And then he comes in contact with mode of goodness, and he gets conditioned by that. And then, he acts in a particular way, being influenced by the modes of material nature. He acts in a particular way, and he may get some good position. So, being in a good position and bad position, in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, like in the Ajamil section, it is, this particular sloka comes. It is like a living entity falls into a river, which is having a very strong current. And then कभी पत्थर में like लग जाता है और कभी like smoothly sail करता है. And he doesn't have any control. And the river is also not having a desire कि like इसको मारना है, इसको अच्छे से लेके जाना है. River is just going on its own current. The modes of material nature is going on its own current. And the fault is that we have fallen into this. We have taken a choice to come into this material world. That is the only fault that the living entity has. Rest everything is just in the flow. Chal raha hai. So how many of you have played the video game of don't go and play now. So iske pehle like for me samskara is like too strong because I coded that video game. I wrote a code in C like to make the video game, like the ball it goes like this and then you have to adjust a tile below and things like that. Pinball to like rash marta hai, like there is another thing like you can just have only the left and right this one as a slide kar sakta hai. So I had programmed that game, and then I had programmed duck shoot, you know. So anyways, so like I was not so much interested in gaming, but I was writing code for game. So basically, like. Yeah, I spoiled so many people's life actually. So like I'm doing the prayaschitta by preaching Krishna consciousness. So anyways, so that the aspect of the ball just goes, it doesn't have a particular this one. So in which angle it comes in contact, and then it just takes that way and it just proceeds. So in the same way, the living entity comes in contact with the material modes of nature, and then it takes a course of action, and it gets infected, just like when you get fever. So you don't have a choice, your body has temperature and you don't have energy, and you don't have a choice. So in the same way, when the modes of material nature affects us, we don't have a choice, like that. So it's quite precarious condition, right? So whatever jitna bhi hosh hai, usko use karke, like like we have to come out of this cycle of this karmic reactions. And then there is no one is therefore either enemy or friend of Lord. So the Lord is like completely impartial, and everyone is suffering and enjoying the results of his own destiny. So this destiny is made by the living being in course of social intercourse. That's like we attribute it to the this one of guna sangha. Like. Karanam guna sangosya, like that particular this one social intercourse, and everyone here wants to lord over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. So the basic now, like Prabhupada actually comes to the very core point. The core point of the mistake that we have is we have the tendency to lord over the material nature. We want to be free from, we want to be like away from the Lord, and we want to enjoy separately from the Lord. So that is the basic this one, and that like basic desire is given different dressings. Dressing of mode of ignorance, dressing of mode of goodness and passion and things like that. And the solution is not to set right all these things. Like previously also we discussed that happiness comes, we have to execute Krishna consciousness. Distress comes, we have to execute Krishna consciousness. What is the deeper purport to it? Like why this happiness and distress comes? Happiness comes when I taste the results of my actions in mode of goodness, and distress comes when I taste the results of the actions that I performed in mode of passion or ignorance, right? So now, like if I keep handling these things, the root cause is not solved, and it'll again and again, it'll prop up, right? So now the root cause, the solution for the root causes I want to enjoy separately from Krishna. The solution is I want to serve Krishna. So that is the solution. So that is why kovida is used in that this one. Nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyada. So like tasyaiva heto prayateta kovida. Like an intelligent person, he will not handle the external appearances of happiness and distress. He will work on the root cause, that is Krishna consciousness, right? So he will work on the root cause, and eventually these like when the stock of karma is either burnt or like exhausted, so then the happiness and distress cease to exist, right? So he will only have the spiritual bliss. So in that way, that is very nice point to ponder about. So like everyone here wants to lord over the material nature. So that's the core problem. And thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all pervading, and therefore he can see everyone's activities. So that's that is previously also discussed. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, he is known as the eternal time, Kala. Okay. So I pause here. Any questions or comments we can discuss this? So we have time till 9, right? Okay. Yes, bro.
Mentioned about like doing intense devotional service. So how can we differentiate between intense devotional service and fanaticism? Sometimes it might happen.
Intense devotional service and fanaticism. Yeah. So fanaticism means like it's again another covered way of our own desires. Our own desires. Like we are trying to, like we have a particular conception and we want to impose that conception on the practice of devotional service, right? So then that becomes fanatic. So devotional service means like it happens, with the attitude of humility. So when the humility is there, so then we will know, like, what does the Lord want? We will always be in this one of search for what does the Lord want. I don't know what exactly to be done. So the Lord may want something else. I think this is the thing, I'm supposed to do. So, but then I'm eager to know what's the decision of the Lord. So, like based on the teachings, of the scriptures, and based on the guidance that I have received, and at this point in time, I've come to this particular conclusion. This is what is the right thing to be done. So right now, I don't have immediate consultation. So immediate consultation is there. So that's the end of the matter. Like if the spiritual master's verdict is there, or the authority's decision is there, so then that is the ultimate thing. That's what the Lord wants. We can actually conclude. But then if I don't have such an opportunity, so then based on the teachings, and based on the teachings of the spiritual master, and based on the scriptural guidance, we come to a conclusion. This is what is the right thing to be done, and then like we pray to the Lord. This is what I could ascertain as what I should be doing. So, but then I want to do what exactly you want me to do, and I don't know what it is. Like this is the best of the thing which I can think of, and I'm just trying to do this thing. Please guide me. Please give me the proper direction. So then fanaticism will not come, right? So fanaticism will come when a person says, I know this is it. This is what is the right thing to do, and this is what everybody should do, and this is what like whole world should do. It's like that is fanaticism, right? So like he has decided for himself. This is what it is. So then it becomes like that. So humility means I don't know. I am eager to know like what the Lord wants, and to the best of my capacity, like this is what I could ascertain, and I will do it with this one of I could be wrong, right? So and like I've taken the best possible what is it foundational principles, and then I've taken a decision, and I could be wrong, like that.
For example, like someone may say this will be one of the important things. Someone will be very static about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You might not, but they might judge you like because you are not doing this seva, so it means that your intent is not there. But it might happen कि मेरे को इंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं मिला है, मेरे को अभी कहीं और सेवा करना है, something like that. और मेरा नेचर नहीं उतना इंटेंस कि मैं हर रोज सड़क पे जाकर के 8 घंटे बिजनेस, but someone is able to do that. So we can say he is doing intense devotional bhakti और ये बैठ कर खाली कंप्यूटर पे कुछ बटन दबाता है, he is not. So that becomes very difficult explaining. Like,
yeah, so in the initial stages, it's quite difficult for the sadhakas. Initially, either they have to be fanatic in the beginning. No, one devotee was telling, like why all these guys have joined Brahmacharya ashram. These people are fanatic. Out of passion they have joined, and over a period of time, they will cultivate mode of goodness. So like in the beginning, like it's going to be fanatic. And but then like over a period of time, so we should cultivate the humility, and then we should see that what everyone else is doing is also very important service. And it goes to such a level, the Uttamadhikari, he sees that even a materialistic person, he is doing better service than me. Krishna is more pleased with him than me, right? So like I am the only worst, Barbad Atma. Like, I am the only person like who's creating all trouble to the Lord, and rest everybody is giving pleasure to the Lord. So that's the mood the Supreme, an Uttamadhikari actually possesses. So in that way, like the mood changes over a period of time. So but then initially, fanaticism is agreed. It's okay. So agar wo nahi hai to like bhakti nahi karega. So like so one time one devotee was telling this and the Western people were like too fanatic kind of a people, and then they were thinking that we are right and the whole world is wrong. So then Prabhupada came and he told like, no, you practice Krishna consciousness, only you are right, whole world is wrong. Go and rebel against the whole world. They are so rebellious. And if you want to be rebellious, okay, like no, I'll give you the best of the philosophy, and only you are right and the whole world is wrong. Now you can rebel. Go. And over a period of time, they all become humble and they become sannyasis. Right? So Prabhupada utilized, you're a fanatic, okay, you do this is the right thing, and you be fanatic. And if you rightly practice, so then you will become humble over a period of time, right? So that's this one. Yes, Prabhu.
Similarly, on this line, I got a question. So, how to differentiate that? Am I practicing superficially or am I practicing actually Krishna consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
That was about fanaticism. That
Yeah, superficial practice, like we see that superficial practice means like we are doing the practices of Krishna consciousness just to show others that I am practicing. So, but deep within, no, what is that I'm nourishing and what is that I'm actually, feeding and nourishing. So, like, I want to be known as a good devotee, no, or I want to be known as a hardworking devotee, or I want to be known as a good cook or something like that. So, then, like, the deep within, like, we can actually see the desires, no, that is actually coming in. So then we can understand that okay, no, this is like okay, it is the desire I'm trying to work on it. So then still he is a sincere sadhaka, but then it is a desire, and then I'm actively planning and doing things. If I do in front of everybody this kind of work, everybody will take a note that no, he is a hardworking devotee, right? So like it actually like the mind is actually planning and executing. So then it is no, it is like the devotion that we are trying to do is superficial. So, but then the whole aspect of the morning program is to meditate upon these prayers, the Guru Ashtakam and then the like Narsimha Arati and Tulsi Arati and things like that. So, like in Tulsi Arati, like any line that you can remember of, countering this particular thing, not being superficial. Hmm? ए निवेदन Sakhi Ranugata Karo. So like I just simply want to be the follower of the Sakhis, no? Or I just simply want to be engaged in the service of the devotees of the Lord, right? And then Morae Abhilash, Vilash Kunja Diyavas. Like, no, this is my only desire. No, just to render service to Krishna, right? So like it's little high prayer. No, it's a prayer in the prayojana state that is given to us at every day. So it's a very very like very exalted prayer actually, Tulsi prayer. So that's one reason like we should be very nicely we should practice this sadhana. So when we come above the like lower stages of bhakti, so then this Tulsi prayer and all will become very solid actually. Like these are all prayers in prayojana state, no. So but it's all nicely accommodated in our morning program. So at least in our current state, we can actually bring it to a state that we can comprehend and implement. So I don't want anything else, no. I only want devotional service to the Supreme Lord, right? So and for this matter, we can actually whatever the desires are there, we can actually counter them with a counter argument. So if the mind is saying that you can do this thing, and then like people will recognize you, so then we can actually counter it by saying that let everybody misunderstand me, let everybody like hold me, I simply want to serve you, like I simply want to serve you for your pleasure. So we can actually have a counter, so sometimes the counter is devotee also should be little solid devotee. नहीं तो or counter actually like starts happening, then it becomes difficult. So anyways, like we can counter it in a little milder way also, and we can say that all that I'm trying to work for, my ego and things like that, may it be crushed, and may the desire for serving the Supreme Lord be the only thing that is there, and may the desire for hearing the holy name clearly, may that be the only desire I have. No, let me not have anything else, like that. So we can actually cultivate, we have to actually cultivate that. So carefully cultivate that. So now, for example, any student who goes to the college, he doesn't have any exposure to drugs or smoking and things like that, and sometimes like it's not very nice thing to get onboarded to these practices. But then over a period of time, by constantly indulging in them, so people make that as a goal, and people become addicted to it. So in the same way, if this is the thing that we need to have, so that is what we are doing, like by studying Bhagavatam, by attending morning program, what essentially we are doing, we are actually like trying to orient our goals, is one of the sadhanas, like is to orient our goal. So like this one, Moraya Abhilash, that is there, and then in Sikshashtakam, nadanam, najanam. No, this is orienting the goal. No, like my goal is not karma, my goal is not jnana, my goal is not yoga, my goal is only bhakti. Right? So we have to keep on orienting it and consciously trying to practice this thing. And when the goal is solidly fixed, so then we will not get diverted here and there. No, we will be like very solidly practicing. The superficial bhakti comes because the goal is something else. The goal is either karma, jnana, and yoga. And then what to do? Like I'm amongst the bhakti yogis. No, I have to show that I'm a bhakti yogi. You know? So I have to do superficial bhakti. So, but then the goal is bhakti. So then I will be a real devotee. No, I will deeply practice. Right? So like that. Yes, Prasanna.
Harikshetra, Prabhuji. So you told about the goal. So I got a question on this. Like, how can we evaluate ourselves that if we have the desire, if we have the goal for progressing to attain Krishna in this very lifetime, or our goal is something different?
So that is like patiently observing the thoughts that is coming to us. So in the previous question also we were mentioning that. So like we should be contemplating and also like observing what kind of thoughts is naturally coming to us. So many times it is just autopilot mode it is going on, and we don't become so conscious about it. So like we have to be like if we consciously like observe, we will get to know like what's our natural thought process.
Prabhu, for example, like we are here in movement, and after a while it might become it's just good to be here. People are good, food is good, festival is good. You go outside and you have to go to some clubs and everything, and you do not have taste or you don't like any of that and good. Here we are, but we are not conscious that we are working for a goal or a Krishna.
Yeah, the complacency is a problem. So, but then, no, Krishna bada dayamai. No. So, what does Krishna do? He's a perfect manager. काम आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा तो like चाबी दे देते. Yeah, but then no, my counselor used to tell that why to give Krishna so much trouble and you also go through so much trouble. Krishna has to put you in so much misery. Better you yourself be sincere. Then Krishna का काम बचेगा तुम भी like आराम से रहेंगे. So like that. Yes. Any others? Okay. So if some devotees want to share some points that we discussed today, you can raise hands. You can.
You mentioned that real success for a devotee is to seek the hand of Krishna in every situation, good or bad. Also, you mentioned that lust, the freedom is inversely proportional to lust. So, the more lust we have, so that we will be have freedom in this lust, like in case of trees.
So you are telling that actually the main problem why we came here is because we wanted independent enjoyment from the Krishna. So that is the real cause. You are giving the example of the river flowing very strongly, and a person fell into it. So person also has no control. The river is flowing in its own pace. So the main problem is that he fall into the river. So that's what is the main problem we are facing. So actually we need to go out from here. We should like bring. We should go into our constitutional position that we are the servant of Krishna.
Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji, you told just to do endeavor to do some more Krishna conscious activities, even it is like the sad times or it's like good times. So how to do Krishna conscious things when we go? That we need to think about this sad activity.
Yes.
See, like as a Paramatma, like Krishna is always present and watching, and he has put so many sakshis like sun, God, and then moon, and so many others. We cannot keep like they are always watching us, and we are always in constant supervision.
Yes.
superficially or with proper essence. If we are cutting superficially, that means we are trying to show ourselves as bhakti yogis in between all bhakti yogis, and we don't want land name in front of among all of us. We're just showing off, but in the real practice, we'll see what our actual desires are, what we are striving for, what is our goal.
Yes. In this connection, one nice point during our Bhakti Vaibhav session had come up. So, what is the threat, to our organization or the Sanatan Dharma and things like that? So sometimes, people cite different religious organizations or different religious sects. They are the threat, and sometimes they try to work, towards that, and scold them or like bring them down and things like that. So one nice point was observed, like Maharaj Prabhu was mentioning, all our acharyas like Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidya Bhushan, and many acharyas, like even during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, so there was the power, the religion that was in power was some other religion, but then like they never spoke anything against it. No, like it is a very surprising thing. No, they never spoke anything against it, and no, isko marna chahiye and things like that and all. So, but then they identified certain enemies, and they strongly spoke against it. So, what are those things? Mayavad is a solid enemy for us. No, we have to be very, very careful. And then who are the other enemies? Who are constantly being hammered in every page of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Scientists, yeah, scientists. Sense gratification. Huh? Sahajiya, okay. So, philosophically think, what is the enemies that is countered in our philosophy? Prabhupada keeps countering. And whenever the definition of pure devotional service comes, all these guys are countered. Karma, Jnana and Yoga. These are our enemies. Right? So why did I bring about this topic? In the superficial devotional service, what is the thing that is causing us the superficial devotional service? Somehow or other we have come under the clutches of our enemy. So we have become like controlled by the desire for karma. I'll do this, I'll get this benefit. Or we have become controlled by the desire for liberation, or controlled by the desire for siddhis, or better situation and things like that. So this is our enemy. We should clearly define. So we are bhakti yogis, we are practitioners of Krishna consciousness. Our real enemy is sense gratification. Then after that, like illegal sense gratification, that is the first enemy, that is sinful. And second is legal sense gratification, that is the karma yoga. And then the desire for liberation and desire for like this one. So like what is it? What all the things that we can remember of? What is it? Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkamate Eva Shanta, right? So like every opportunity, our acharyas have given every opportunity, left, right, center, they have beaten these things. And that's what is actually controlling us actually now. So we have to identify the real enemies, and we have to identify our real treasure. Then we can work upon the sadhana very nicely. So this is like philosophically, like these are our enemies and these are our friends. We should understand. Okay. 5 more minutes is there. Anybody has any points can share.
So when we see other organizations like so they're somehow or other like working on bhakti siddhi kama. Indirectly we are hitting them.
Yeah, see, more than that is like we ourselves are caught in that clutches of enemy, and we are talking about they go other enemy attacker. अरे अंदर attack हो गया already. बाहर की तरफ देख रहे हैं बोले अंदर अटैक हो गया. है ना? Like that. This way.
So one philosophical point we discussed is like these two things of time, predestined thing, and still having a free will. So it's a big debate among in philosophical ideas also. Like if you read Western philosophy and everything. So these are two schools of thought which say that things are predestined. It's like a computer program that is happening. But some school believes no, free will is always there. So but Prabhupada or our acharyas have given a very good samavana of these two. So they say these two can exist together because, for for example, on your choices, the number of desires that you have and choices that you can make, all possible futures are already destined.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that, let us suppose you are going on a like a road or something, a trip, then all the possible roads
Roots
are
are
there.
destined.
Whatever you take, destination is there. So it's not that based upon your choice the destination are manifesting. Destinations are also there, but still you have a free will to take the route.
Mhm.
So in this way, these two get contradictory and evolve. So that's why we are discussing in past karma. That's why I have this distance. But even our future is destined.
Mm-hmm.
But based upon your choice, that particular future will manifest.
Manifest,
Like
yeah.
that, Paramatma knows or God knows our future as He knows past.
Yeah.
So He already knows all the possible future, but still gives the freedom to take the. So
Yeah.
that's how philosophically I was able to make a compromise.
In this connection, there is one more extension to it. So sometimes, devotees, like sometimes like people think that, no, I have used my intelligence and I have brought about some wonderful creation. So all possible material creations, no, all possible permutation and combination of material creations and situations and things like that is completely within the control of material nature. I cannot create something new. No, I cannot create something new. Like, no, everything is perfectly within the control of material creation, and it is only the choice. Like, it's just like, small kids are given building blocks, and it can build something with that. So, as a like sub kuch, like all the basic ingredients and the final products are completely within the power of the material nature, and it is the living entity who's inspired to work in that particular direction. No material nature. No, what is this one shloka that Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. So Prakriti wants this. What is that? Skyscrapers, buildings to come, and it inspires the living entities. तुमको passion है ना? No, तुम ऐसा करो. No, and then the living entity like does all these skyscraper, this ones, and no, he creates invention, he creates bombs and things like that, and takes what is that like. Padma Bhushan, this, that, and awards and all. Material nature is it's the material nature. Who is the brain behind all these things? So like who's inspiring all these things and doing everything, right? So it is perfectly within the plan. The plan of material nature is manifesting. It's not anybody's intelligence is working actually. So like that. Intelligence is also part of the plan of material nature. Like that. ठीक है ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय